Welcome to Fly Guy channel. This is where I make paper airplanes and I'm going to talk about life. And so often we tend to look at our mistakes that we make in life. We confuse it with calling ourselves or believing that we are a failure for the mistakes that we make. And it's kind of like we expect ourselves to be perfect in everything. And I make a lot of airplanes here on the channel, and I get comments here and there that my folds aren't perfectly symmetrical, like this one. This one's not quite symmetrical. As you can see, it's not a line there. But does that mean that this airplane is not going to fly very good? No. And we tend to look at ourselves that way. We judge ourselves by, if we're not perfect, then there's some flaw in us that makes us seem like we're a failure, that maybe feel like a reject. And maybe you have had people criticize you in your past. Maybe it's how you look, or maybe it's the color of your skin or your gender. And I understand that people are cruel and they judge you, and it's important to feel like you fit in, but you're not going to be perfect. And what's really important in life is, the values that you hold, in not looking at what you should do or what you should be in the eyes of other people, but more of, what type of people do you want in your life? Do you want people in your life to like you for who you are, not for what you do? And you're going to have flaws. You're not going to be perfect, but you're still going to fly. Like making this airplane. It's not a perfect airplane, and that's okay. What matters is, at the end of the day, after I make this airplane, it's going to fly and I'm going to have fun doing it. And that's what happens a lot when we lose our focus. We lose our focus on what really matters in life. And we sometimes put too much of an emphasis on feeling like, I've got to be perfect in everything because I want everybody to accept me for who I am. Not everyone's going to accept you. You're going to have flaws. This airplane, it's not perfect. But I'll tell you, the nice thing about making airplanes, see that crease there? Yeah. The nice thing with airplanes, it doesn't judge you. All it needs is wings, a few folds, and someone to throw it with ease and gentleness, someone to enjoy. This was a flat piece of paper, and I turned it into a paper airplane. It's not perfect. Not perfect at all. But will it fly? Absolutely it will fly. Just like all of these other airplanes that I've made. None of them are perfect. And every single one, I folded them exactly the same way, but every single one of them is a little bit different. And that's the beauty. They're different colors. But at the end of the day, they're still paper airplanes, and they still will fly. Some might fly further than others. That's okay. But it's still a paper airplane. It doesn't matter the color. It doesn't matter how perfect the folds are. And I want you to think about that in your own life, and look at your life as like a paper airplane. You might be different than other people, but it doesn't mean you're any less than any other people. You can still fly. You can still have value as a person, as a human being. And so I love making airplanes for that reason. And you don't have to be perfectly symmetrical on your folds, and you don't have to be perfectly perfect as a human being to be accepted and loved and cared for and have friends. So choose who you hang out with wisely. Don't judge yourself, and just really have fun with life. Make a paper airplane and go fly them and enjoy life. and don't be so hard on yourself.